Hi. Well, my grandson was making a fire the other day and having a tough time on it, so I was giving him a few hints, and I thought I would make a short video to show you guys how to build a correct fire. A fire needs three things. It needs oxygen, it needs fuel, and it needs a spark. Today it was raining all morning, so the whole terrain right now is soaking wet, but you never know when you need to build a fire, and usually when you're wet and cold will be the time when you really want to build a fire. So we're going to do some things here to show you how to build a fire even when it's wet outside. So the type of fire I'm going to demonstrate today is a magnesium fire. We're going to use this magnesium starter to create the flame for our fire. For the start of your fire, what you want to start with is a nest of really fine fibers. A great thing in the rain is cattails. You can pull them apart and they're very fluffy and they ignite very easy. I don't have cattails right in this area, so I'm going to go to the cedar tree. And the cedar tree, if you take your knife and you scrape it on the side of it, it comes off and real fine tinder, which is great for catching the flame and starting the fire. Also under the canopy there's lots of branches, and a lot of times these branches are pretty dry, even though I can feel a little moisture in them. It has very small branches and larger branches, and it's very good. In this area we have a lot of birch bark. Birch bark is a great resource for starting fires. I have a dead birch bark tree laying here. Okay, so I've gathered up some of the materials I need to start the fire. Because the ground is slightly wet, I put a piece of birch bark down and put my nest inside there so it didn't soak up any water. I ripped up birch bark in some smaller pieces, a little bit larger pieces. Same with the branches. I got some really small branches, which you need at first to start out the fire, and then we can move up into bigger ones and then larger ones. Problem people have when trying to start a fire is they try to hurry too quick. In other words, they don't take the time to prepare things they need to create a fire. So what we're going to do now is we're going to add some magnesium to our nest. Now again, magnesium works really good even when it's wet. There's two ways we can do this. We can strike it down into it. A lot of times if you do that, you strike too far and you hit your nest and it goes flying. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to place I got a little bit of pile of magnesium there. We'll see if that's enough. I'm going to place the knife down by it, and I'm going to pull up with the unit, trying to hold the knife so I don't make everything go flying. Now, some of this wood is still a little bit damp, but if your flame gets hot enough, it still will ignite it. We have our fire, and we created it by first creating a nest that was very fine fibers, moved it up to a little bit larger fibers with the birch bark, moving it into sticks, moving it into larger branches that will give us a fire that will be sustainable. All the tinder in one direction, which brings it in tight to keep it at bay. So you do these teepee type fires, they look great, and if you're in a competition where you want to get a fire really high real fast, that's a possibility, but at that point the fire will dispense really quick. Here the fire will be a sustainable fire and give you the ability to
cook or do whatever you need with that fire that night.